and this is after lunch. My name is Schuck. I work for the Kansas Department of Agriculture's Food Safety Program, and I'm the inspection manager. We're here to share with you today our presentation covering our recent project on creating diversity in community food safety education practices in Kansas. So as everyone here is very well aware, that foodborne illness remains significant and too many people get sick. Too many people are hospitalized and way too many people die. Despite the severe results of foodborne illness, the World Health Organization indicates that simple food hygiene steps can prevent these diseases, and that this act of reducing foodborne illness is a very winnable battle. So therefore, all of you are in the same boat with us. We believe that food safety education plays a critical role in preventing foodborne illness.
And food safety education still have lots of room to be improved. And there are lots of theories and models applied in food safety education, like the theory of planned behavior, the behavior change wheel, the 6E model, etc. And there are also lots of practices around food safety education, like the lectures, seminars, handouts, videos, and food mobile apps, etc.
Sorry for the back and forth. We thought it would be more interesting if we were to share one mic. So in Kansas, we have lots of Asian food restaurants, like I'm sure everyone else does. If Kansas has it, everyone else has it as well. Involving food safety in Kansas, my role with the Kansas Department of Agriculture is that my inspectors go out and they encounter these interactions with Asian food restaurants. And so we saw that there's an increased number of complaints in these facilities, and there's a higher level of follow-up inspections that my staff has to do. And so that's how the Department of Agriculture is kind of involved in this project.
Promoting Chinese food culture in the community is a good thing to happen, since it increases multicultural awareness and community diversity. Especially if there are many Confucius institutes in our communities. Usually this type of events attract a big crowd of people to engage in. Actually, I'm from one of the Confucius Institute, which is located at the Kansas State University. So we are neighbors, we are friends too.
That's right. So the question that we have regarding what we can do about the our different roles in the community is that can we combine the two types of events together? Can we combine consumer engagement and food safety together in one event? And so that's pretty much what started our collaboration and discussion, is our interest in public health and multicultural diversity in our community. So to get into the guts of this, we wanted to share with everyone that we created this new thought. We wanted to reach people in a different way. And what I've really noticed about all the presentations thus far is that they're not talking a lot about diversity, but before lunch there was a lady speaking about how the education in different diverse populations is where it's needed. And so we decided to go ahead and have cultural awareness be a purpose, and also building community relationships, and at the same time give food safety education. This project is going to align with our mission, and the big major part of this is the collaboration component, and to make it legit, there's research. So the Kansas Department of Agriculture has a lovely mission statement, and I'm sure everyone else's organization has one of great length. So I wanted to put it out here for everyone to see. But the thing to capture is that we have consumers in our mission, we have safe food supply in our mission, public health and safety, and consumer protection. It's all included in our mission.
And this program also aligns with the mission of the Kansas State University. University. Kansas State University is a land-grant university which is committed to the development of local communities by implementing different types of engagement projects. And this combined food safety education program is belong to 3 categories of the combined of the engagement projects. That is the art and culture, community development, and public health. And in our Kansas State University, there is an institute called K-State Research and Extension, which has 105 stations in each of the counties. It is the largest institute at K-State, and also is one of the partners of our programs. And the K-State Research and Extension also identifies 5 grand challenges which all Kansans will meet. And this program contributes to 2 of the 5 grand challenges, that is the health and the community vitality. And this program aligns with the missions of multiple stakeholders. And this is the support letter from the Confucius Institute signed by the director, and this is the support letter from the Kansas Department of Agriculture, also signed by the leadership who is sitting in this room too. I'm so glad that you can come here. And this is a congratulations letter from the Center for Engagement and Community Development. This project was also funded by this center with a $10,000 funding support in a 2-year range.
All right, so we had lots of partners. We had the Confucius Institute that was in charge of the food culture during the event, making sure they spoke about that. The Department of Agriculture staff had inspectors around the state give lectures, very reduced, very nominal, not long lectures, although they really wanted to talk a long time, at the events. And then we also had engagement with the local chefs, so that was where we had some value of speaking outside of an inspection, which I really valued. We also had the K-State research and extension individuals from many counties, and these people were really wonderful. They recruited participants, which is key, right? Don't want to put all this together and not have anybody come. And then they also coordinated with local kitchens, which was one of our hardest things. Like, how can we find locations that could have a hand washing sink near the cooking station? So that was a hard thing, and they helped us with that. And then, of course, the chefs demonstrated their skills, which in turn promoted their own restaurant. And professors at K-State helped us with develop the questionnaires that we distributed, and then of course the community members, we needed them to participate and have interest.
Promoting Chinese cultural awareness and community diversity is one of the goals of this program. And in these pictures, the Confucius Institute staff was promoting Chinese folk culture.
So this, another program goal was the food safety education component. So there's lots of pictures here showing how there was a live demonstration, there's hands-on practice by the participants, and then voila, we have a recipe, which you can't really see, but in red it has the food safety information on it. And this was really key in our event because these people were coming in and they didn't really know what they were doing, so they were depending on the recipe. And so while we can talk about hand washing, that's just kind of one of those things, right? But they were looking around for the hand washing station. They were actually going to do it, and I don't think without that instruction that wouldn't have happened.
Community relationship building is another goal of this project. There are different groups of people who are involved in this project, including the Chinese restaurant chefs and the Kansas Department of Agriculture officials and the inspectors, and Research and Extension Specialist, Confucius Institute staff, and also Brian is also here to help me, and we have lots of partners, definitely, and other community members as well. In this picture, the participants were listening to the food safety education lectures given by the Kansas Department of Agriculture inspectors, and the Confucius Institute staff was introducing the Chinese food culture too. The K-State Research and Extension Specialist was introducing the event. And this was the layout of a serving table for the event. One of the chefs was demonstrating how to make Chinese dishes, and the participants were experiencing hands-on practices for making Chinese dishes.
So we implemented surveys, pre and post surveys, to around 200 participants. Now, on a scale of research, I know it's not very big, but to hold each event is pretty intense. So we were pretty happy with that number, and so we discussed things in these surveys about multicultural awareness, community relationship, how they felt about it, and their food safety knowledge before and after. We went all over the state. You want to do that? And we went all over the state. So these are the locations that we held it at, which was very much indicative to if there was a location there. We would have gone everywhere if there were kitchens to do this.
We collected 161 data from the participants for the pre and post survey, and the data shows that all the participants were open to different restaurants and food, so there are no barriers on food for the participants.
So the motivation to come to the class was really curiosity and wanting to experience another culture. That's what got people in the door. We hold food safety classes a lot, and sometimes it's hard to get people there. So they all came for that purpose, but they actually received a whole lot more in the making.
The food safety education training and the community relationship building were ranking the least. Although it was, they were the main purpose for the organizers. So we add lots of other elements into the food safety education. And this diagram shows that the Chinese cooking skills for all the participants were improved significantly after the events.
And guess what? Their knowledge grew. It was very simple concepts, and their knowledge grew. So that made me happy. Even hopefully these participant and community members work in a restaurant or have impacts in some way, but at the very least at their home, they'll know.
And most of the participants agreed that they have experienced and learned about another culture. There are relationships between other participants, between the restaurant owners and K-State Research and Extension specialists and KDA inspectors were improved significantly. And it was interesting that they also agreed that they concerned more about food safety issues, although this was not the main reason for them came to this event.
So there were lots of statements on the survey about whether or not they agree or disagree. So really the key to this information is that they agreed that all of our, the purposes of good community building relationships, having safe food, and all the things we wished to achieve were achieved. And this slide talks about how complex influence is on our food safety behavior. We can't figure it all out, right? What influences one person may not influence the next. So that's really all this shows is a bunch of color and complication. I think that's one more. Oh.
The key learnings from this project that in order to increase participation in food safety classes, we need to incorporate interesting components such as the culture and cooking skills, and collaborations simplify the work. As we have mentioned that we have lots of partners, and each of the partners plays a role, shares part of the responsibilities and the achievements as well. Our Kansas model can be described as culture plus food safety plus community relationship building. So it is definitely a collaborative program.
So to show that we really are supportive of diversity in Kansas, we really wanted to go further than just this class. It was great, it was fun, my instructors had a wonderful time. The Confucius Institute really were amazing and inclusive, and they also helped us create lots of handouts. So this is something that if you wanted to go to our website and wanted to take it home with you, can have that. Every Kansas handout is in Spanish and in Chinese now, so we felt that was a really great thing that came out of this collaboration. And also, the Confucius Institute gave food safety lectures. So Shijun was amazing, and he took our presentation that we do on a regular basis, and he learned it, and he presented it in Chinese, rather than us saying it and him repeating it, and how discombobulated that can be. So that was a true benefit as well.
After experiencing so many events, I got the same feeling with all the participants that good chefs really make great differences in the events. And besides the local Chinese chefs, we also invited 2 top-notch chefs from China coming to the United States to our communities to host a higher level culinary workshops, and they hosted 15 events in the state of Kansas and Nebraska, and all the events were highly welcomed by the community members. You can see these are the high school culinary club members, and this was the superintendent of local school district, and these are the college students who major in hospitality management, and this was the department head standing in the line, and these are the campus partners of the Confucius Institute, and this was the vice president of Kansas State University. We also invited the state senators, the university associate provost, assistant provost, many deans and associate deans and faculty to attend the events. Of course, we didn't forget to combine food safety education together with this wonderful culinary event.
So we believe that there's endless potential here to duplicate this model. So the Confucius Institutes in Minnesota and Missouri are also going to try to extend and do the same type of project. And I believe that the top-notch chefs from China are coming to New York. And we'd be happy to help anybody recreate this event, lessons learned type of things with anyone that wants to hear about it. And I can also reach out to the regulatory authorities. If you don't know those inspectors, they want food safety and happiness and discussion about food safety too. So you can do this in your state or city. Are there any questions? Well, we did a good job then.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Very good presentation. I'm glad that you approached it from a cultural perspective. Do you have plans to work with other cultures with this type of approach?
So the question is about if we would work with other cultures, and I would love that. One of the key things is that the Confucius Institute did a lot of the planning and legwork, and they had a lot more people. In terms of regulatory, we have one here, one there, and they have a larger staff. So they did a lot of the grunt work, And so if you had other community organizations that have a fairly large number, because it takes a lot of hands-on doing dishes, cutting up stuff. I mean, there was a lot that went into it that their organization did, but it would work for any culture. I would say if there's any community group, they should just reach out to the regulatory authority and say, we have these events and you have this knowledge, come and help us. And I know Kansas would be at every event if we were invited. Yeah.
Actually, when we applied for the funding grant and we just set Chinese culture as an example, and after 2 years of experience, we have the realistic feeling that the regulatory agents, the inspectors allow to add cultural components to the food safety and education, and the culture as the cultural organization, we love to do something for solving the real problems for the community. So it's a win-win situation. We have lots of partners. Each of the partners plays a role in the event organization, shares part of the responsibilities. Also, we share the achievements together.